Hello and welcome to Genevora's running commentary number 22. We're going to talk about vocal fatigue and pacing. How to keep your voice healthy for longer when you're using it. When we are speaking or singing, our vocal folds are colliding together. It's how they make the sound. They vibrate together like this. But that's what's happening in our larynx. As they do that, the bashing about, the general wear and tear is going to make them slightly irritated and then will result in some inflammation. Now this, in the general day-to-day use of our voice, we deal with this extremely well. The larynx is very, very good at repairing those tissues on the vocal folds. The more we use our voice, the more tired it will get. And we have a term, vocal loading, which describes the amount of impact and stress and strain there is on the voice, on the vocal folds in particular. Vocal loading will be increased with the amount of use. So the number of hours per day that you are using your voice. So when I'm speaking, my vocal folds are colliding together about 200 times a second. So you can add up over the day that if I'm speaking for more time, then my voice will get tireder. Makes sense. Vocal loading is also increased with level of use. So if we are speaking or singing more loudly, then the vocal folds are colliding harder to make that louder sound. So they are again going to fatigue more easily. They are more prone to inflammation in the longer term. High singing will also increase the vocal loading because the higher you sing, the more times per second your vocal folds are colliding. So that in itself will tire them out more. So women are more prone to vocal fatigue than men because women's voices phonate at a higher frequency. So it's just because the vocal folds are working more. And if you're singing high, if you're singing soprano or high-pitched singing for a long period of time, the same will apply. The third major factor in vocal loading is levels of anxiety. Because if you are anxious or worried, then you will be in holding patterns everywhere in your body, and that holding will mean that you're not using your voice as efficiently as you would normally. I'm not going to talk about the anxiety now, but I'm going to talk about other ways that you can use to pace your voice use over a day or over an hour. Now, if you let's take an hour of voicing. So this is your 1 hour of a singing lesson. It might be you giving a singing lesson or you receiving a singing lesson. It might be you taking an hour of a choir rehearsal. Or it might be you giving a lesson in a classroom where you're speaking for an hour. In that hour, imagine that you have 10 minutes when you're not using your voice. Now you can break that 10 minutes up into smaller chunks if you choose. And if you have, for example, 10 1-minute breaks through that hour, your voice will recover more quickly than if you have one 10-minute break. So lots of mini breaks will help those tissues to recover more effectively. So you can plan this into your rehearsal, into your lesson, into your performance, that you have lots of mini breaks, frequent breaks. So if your student has just had a big sung something through that you know has caused a relatively high level of vocal loading, you give them a minute or two of no voicing. You do something else for a minute or two. You talk, or you listen to something together, or you think about the emotions in the song or the character, or you think about some other aspect that doesn't involve the student singing. Give them that minute or two to recover, and then you can resume singing. Simple answer. You don't need to rest your voice anymore. You just choose how to distribute the rest. Happy singing.